Guys, it's Sarah, and today we're going to talk about my December wrap up. I feel like December was already so long ago. I actually really do feel like that. I don't know why. It's crazy. But I ended up reading 7 books in December, which is fine. I was kind of hoping to get to a little bit more than that, but yeah, but it's fine. So 7 books is really good. Okay, the first book that I finished in December was One to Watch. This is by Kate Stayman London. And this one is a book that I read for a challenge that Lindsay and I did to read some Book of the Month books in the year 2021. And this one I listened to on audiobook, and that is narrated by Kristen C. And I thought the narration was great. This follows B, and she is a plus-sized fashion blogger, and she publicly criticizes this dating show called Main Squeeze because there's no representation for a plus size community on that show. And she goes very public with that. And she gets a lot of attention because of that. So much attention that they actually reach out to her and offer her to be the next contestant on that show. And she's going to vie for 25 men's affections on national television. So she decides to do it, to take the opportunity, and but she walks in there with like zero intention of falling in love. Like, she's not taking it super, super seriously. So you follow B and her being on this reality show and going through all these things, right? And I really enjoyed this a lot. I did give it 5 stars. A little further time away, maybe would have lowered it, but like my initial gut reaction when I finished it, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so much fun. There was so much drama that I just ate up. And I don't even like those types of shows. Like, I don't watch The Bachelor or anything like that. I don't enjoy them, but apparently I like it in my books. And yeah, there has been some criticism about this book as far as B goes as a character and her definite, I would borderline to say hypocrisy on, she always says that she's confident and strong and tries to exude that and everything. But the second someone actually shows her attention, she doesn't believe that she's worthy of it. And it's just kind of, I definitely could see that in here. So I can definitely see that criticism for sure. And yeah, it was fun. Again, just like kind of ate it up. It was just very, very, very entertaining. So yeah, I'm not going to end up keeping this one for the long haul. I'm going to go ahead and put this in my unhaul pile, just because it's not something I think that was like necessarily needs to be on my shelves, and I will never read it again. But I did really enjoy it while I was reading it. Okay, so next one that I finished was The Holiday Swap. This is by Maggie Knox. This was another Book of the Month pick for the month of December. And unpopular opinion time, I did not like this. Okay, I listened to this on audio as well. It was narrated by Stephanie Cannon, who did a great job. But this follows sisters. They're twin sisters. And they are living close-ish to each other, not in the same town, but close. One is living in LA. She is a chef on a reality show. And then the other one is living back in their hometown. She is the owner or manager, basically, of the family bakery that has been there for a really, really long time. So they're both in the culinary world. The sister who is living in LA actually has an accident on set, which has caused her to lose her sense of taste. Now, that's going to be a problem as she is on this reality show, like competition type thing. And she needs her sense of taste to know, because she's like judging food. So she has to be able to do that. If she doesn't do that, she is in danger of losing a big career opportunity that this show is going to help her get. So she's panicking and calls her sister up and says, hey, remember how we used to switch lives when we were kids just for fun? Let's do that again. And so they make this deal where they're going to do that. And, there's like, okay, but if you come here, then can you handle this for me? Like, I'll do this for you. Can you handle this for me type thing? And so they make this deal to do that. And they switch lives. Okay. And it's successful. Like, they look that much alike. Okay. And so you're seeing them both living each other's lives and seeing their interactions with other people and decisions that they're making. Okay, so that's the basic premise of the book. Here is what I could not get past. I couldn't get past the fact that these women were living someone else's life and making important decisions that would affect their sister when they come back without asking anything, like career making decisions, like career changing decisions. And hey, this is going to change the way this business is run. Why are you making that decision? You don't run that business. Your sister does. And I know that it was the premise, but they both start dating people, living each other's lives. And I'm like, why are you starting a relationship with somebody as someone else? And like, what happens when you guys switch? Like, your sister's going to have to start dating this guy. What if she doesn't like him? Like, I couldn't get past it. And I understand it's just like supposed to be kind of like a hallmarky, cheesy romantic comedy, but I could not. I was so angry at that. I took it way too seriously, I'm sure. But I just sat there and went, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And then they're not talking, which is another thing. They're not really communicating. Maybe if they were communicating more and talking to each other, it maybe could have been better. But like, I would okay, I have a sister. We're not twins, but I have a sister. I would never take her place and like make a decision in her marriage or, go to her teaching job and completely change her classroom around or do any of these things. I would not do that. That's not my place. Like, I can't, the audacity is what I kept thinking the whole time. So I really didn't like it. However, Krista and Lindsay loved it. So they didn't take it as seriously as I did. But yeah, so I gave this one 2 stars and I'm not going to keep it. It's going in my unhaul pile. So sorry. The next one I picked up is actually another book of the month book. So I have 3 of those on this list for December. I did read an arc of this one, but then I did get a finished copy from Book of the Month, which was awesome. But that is A Flicker in the Dark. This is by Stacey Willingham. And this is a mystery book. A little bit of a thriller, I would say, but you're more kind of unpacking some things along the way. So this follows a woman who is a psychologist and she works with young girls. Now, her past is something that is starting to catch up to her a little bit. When she was 12, her father was arrested and convicted of murdering young girls in their town. And he was a serial killer. And so that stigma stuck with her. And obviously she and her brother had a very hard time after that making or keeping friends. And, it just made their lives really, really hard because of what their father did. So as an adult, she is starting to notice some girls going missing where she is living now. And it's getting a little creepy because there's some things that are pretty similar with her father's routines and things that he did when he was killing. So she is starting to wonder if someone is copying him and what's going on. And it's happening all around her, like way too close for home type of thing for her. So she is trying to figure that out, but she doesn't know what's actually happening or what she can trust or who she can trust. She doesn't really know. So she's trying to figure all that out as well. So you kind of see all those things happen. And then you do see scenes from her childhood, like kind of in flashbacks. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It kept me guessing the whole time. I had a few different theories going on throughout the whole thing. And I loved the ending. I thought the ending was great. It definitely kept me interested the whole time. It was just like, it wasn't something that was nonstop action pack, but it was continuously interesting. And it would end the chapter where I'm like, oh, well, that changes things. And like, oh, well, this is different. And, so like, and then you kind of start rethinking some of your theories. So I thought it was fantastic. I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars and I will definitely read more by this author for sure. The next book that I read was an audiobook that I listened to, and that is The Golden Couple. And this is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. And this is narrated by Carissa Vacker and Marin Ireland. Now, this one doesn't come out until March. I have an early audio copy of it, very kindly gifted to me, so that was really awesome. And this is a writing duo that I have read and really enjoyed in the past. I think I've read all of their books that they have written together, and this one was like one of the better ones. So this book follows a woman named Avery. She is, I would say, a therapist, but she lost her license due to ethical issues, and but she still claims that she can fix anybody. And she will do it in like 10 sessions or less. She kind of has like this tried and true routine. She has a tried and true system for helping people. So she finds herself in the presence of a couple one day who comes to her for help, and they seem like the perfect couple. They are just in love, and they're gorgeous, and they're rich, and they're happy, and blah, blah, blah. But they're there for a reason, right? So our married couple is Marissa and Matthew, and Marissa has cheated on Matthew. So that comes out right in the beginning. And so you follow it from there. You follow the trust fall apart and the things that are happening around everybody. Avery has a lot of her own demons that she's dealing with as well. So you see those because you're going back and forth. And it was really good. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give like too much of the details away, but it's a ride. It's definitely a ride. And I really, really enjoyed it. I would say like I really loved their first book together, The Wife Between Us. And this one is like up there with that. That's how much I enjoyed this one. I really liked it. It was something that there's no like big, huge twists or, like type of thing. But you're watching things unravel, and it's juicy the whole time, and it keeps you guessing, and you start wondering like, well, wait a minute, but now this is happening. Oh, this puts this in a different light. And what if this is happening? And, where did this come from? So that type of stuff. And it was really, really good. So, yeah, that's going to be a high recommend for me. And again, it comes out in March. But yeah, be on the lookout for that one. Okay. And then the next audiobook that I picked up was Undercover Bromance. This is by Lisa K. Adams. And this is book number 2 in the Bromance book club series. And I read the first one a few months ago and loved it. Just completely, I absolutely loved that book. So I wanted to pick up book 2, and I did. And again, this is audio, and it is narrated by Andrew Iden, who did the first one as well. And this one follows Mac and Liz. So Mac is one of the baseball players from the team that is kind of highlighted in the first book. And I liked his character in the first book. So I was excited to see what this was going to be as far as he goes as a character. Okay, I didn't like this one quite as much. I still ended up giving it 4 stars because it was entertaining. I did laugh out loud quite a bit. So the storyline is that Liz works in the culinary industry. So she's working in a restaurant, and she discovers that her boss and somebody that is very influential in their area in the restaurant business is harassing young women in the workplace. And so she makes this discovery, and then she makes it her mission to make sure he is stopped and taken down and all that stuff. Okay. What I didn't love about this book was, and it's so weird to say this as a woman, it was a little too woman power for me. It was over the top, to the point where even the men on the baseball team were having discussions amongst each other. And if there was a statement that could have been questionable, all the guys were like, you can't say that about women, and you can't, don't put them in the, I was just like, oh my gosh, are we serious right now? So that it just got old. It was very, very over the top for me. So that part of it made me not enjoy it as much. And I could kind of tell it was like a woman author trying to make these men be very sensitive to women. And like, it was just it was a little too much for me. So that part kind of made me cringe a little bit. And I didn't love Liz as a character either. I thought she was very, very impulsive, and I thought she made very selfish decisions and didn't think about other people. And when she got called out on that, she got mad. Eventually she did come around, but initially it just gave me a bad taste about her. And so I didn't love her character either. And she was like the main female character and the love interest for Max. So I kind of struggled on what to give it, because I was thinking like either 3 or 4. I did go with 4 because overall I read it really quickly and I did enjoy my time reading it. It was just like that one aspect of it, which was kind of a big aspect, but I still enjoyed the story, and I still, laughed out loud quite a bit again, because it's just a funny series. And I definitely want to keep going. Yeah, that one got 4 stars from me. Okay, and the next one that I finished was Winter by Marissa Meyer, which was the 4th book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I finished it. It was awesome. I loved this one. And this is a science fiction young adult series that follows Disney princess storylines. So they're like retellings. And each book in the series is a different princess. However, it's all interconnected. So you do need to start with book 1 and work your way here, because they are all intertwined and they're all experiencing these things together. So Winter is a Snow White retelling, and I could definitely see all of the little parallels from the story of Snow White in there. And I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a chunker. This was the biggest book in the series. But I really, really enjoyed it. I liked seeing everybody 100% all together. I liked seeing them trying to take down the evil queen, and like what their plan was and what all their obstacles were and all that kind of stuff. One thing I will say is that I kind of wanted a little bit more from the romances in these books. I felt like they were very tame, and I don't know why. I just wanted a little more oomph. They don't have to be like, ripping clothes off. It's a young adult, so I don't want them to be ripping their clothes off in a young adult book. But I wanted just a little bit more passion, I guess, or a little bit more intensity with the connections and the desire to protect the other people and, all that kind of stuff. I definitely felt it with Wolf and Scarlet. I think that's the strongest one. But I kind of wanted that from everybody else too, and I didn't quite get that. So that's a little bit of a criticism, and maybe just a personal preference. But I also, the way this ended, I think a little bit more time away has made me appreciate it more. But I think when I initially read it, I wanted Cinder to be on Lunar. Like, I wanted her to want to be there a little bit more, I guess, if you will. So yeah, that's just kind of like a weird thing for me. But I think the more time away, I kind of appreciate what happened in the long run. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm trying not to spoil anything. I don't think that was a spoiler. But yeah, so okay. Loved it. This one got 4 stars for me. The entire series, the first 2 books were 4 stars. Book number 3 was 5 stars. It was my favorite. Still, this was 4 stars. And then I have one more coming up here. The last book that I read in 2021 was Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. Now, these are a collection of short stories from the Lunar Chronicles. So this one, most of the stories are stories that were mentioned in the series at some point, like a story that someone was telling, an experience they were reliving, things like that. Those scenes were actually in here. And then the last short story in this book is an afterword. So it's after what happened in Winter. It goes into that. So most of it is kind of prequels, and you follow the different characters and different timelines and stuff. And then the very last one is after Winter. And I really enjoyed them. I really, really enjoyed them. Overall, I gave this, I think 4 stars. And it was just a nice little cherry on top ending to this whole series. But yeah, I really, really did enjoy it. So this whole thing is just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed reading all of the series, and I'm definitely keeping this and Winter. I'm actually going to give these to my daughter, Kaylin. She's interested in reading them, and she definitely can. So I'm putting them on her shelves for now. But yeah, super, super enjoyable. I absolutely loved this series. So it's going to be a high recommend for me. Okay, those are the 7 books that I read in the month of December. I know this is like a little later going up, but it's been crazy around here with the storm, and we've had sickness going through our house that's actually still kind of here. But that's what I read. So let me know down below how your Decembers were, and what did you finish off the year reading? What was like your last book that you read in December? I would love to know that. I always love to know what people finish right before the new year. And we will talk down in the comments. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.